SMU and Oklahoma. Bear with me here, folks. And once we get to the point I need to be, we'll be rolling through it. All right. So these are the games that start at 6 Eastern and 3 Pacific time. So the rotation might bounce around a little bit because of the time order, but this is going to be SMU and Oklahoma, 3:37, 3:38 on the rotation. You see the line here currently at Oklahoma minus 16. I'll give a refresh as well. Oklahoma minus 16 and a half, and the total here down to 69. This one, I mean, certainly is going to catch everybody's attention because of that total. It was actually higher. I saw the highest number on this game was as high as 72 and a half. So I don't know if you think it's going to be a shootout. You're getting the value, I would say, here in this one with SMU and Oklahoma. Also on the side, it was as low, I saw as low as 14 and as high as 18. Now, Mindy sent me her play. She says she likes Oklahoma. Does seem to be right in the range there for me. I will say that my survey of handicappers across the industry shows that probably close to a 4-to-1 ratio on SMU here in this one. But there is some public capper support that I've seen as well. The reported steam did come in on SMU in this one. Let's go to the chat and see what you guys have to say. Maybe I'll throw in some trends, but so many games, you guys. And again, college football, I'm not quite getting the attention from you. Maybe, it's a little bit different. Blake, thank you for this inquiry about the Sunday show. It's going to be right right when they kick off. As soon as that red zone timer goes down or whatever, that's when we're going to go on the air. We're not going to mess around with any pregame. There's going to be morning steam tomorrow, so that's when we'll talk about that. Clyde Buckley here today changed his logo to the Steelers. He says, you know what? It's pro football season. Clyde puts his Steeler logo up there, and he says Oklahoma. And Thomas, though, will take the points. Want to say hello to 1K Protection Firm out there as well today. Didn't get to say hi. Hope I got everybody. Mike Worley as well today. So it feels like just the regulars here. We'll get some. Hey, we'll do the winning. Let's hold me to the test here and see how it comes out. I think we can have a pretty successful run here in this one. So if this total is going to continue to move down, and I know that steam did come down. I mean, I've seen cappers that are on the under as well, but I don't feel like that's going to be what's going to happen here in this one, you guys. I feel like it's going to be a pretty high scoring game. I think, it's going to be close enough for me to be interested in the over. Hey, MT's here today. All right. Great to see you, MT. One of my old school chat buddies from back in the day. Solo here today as well. You guys are the number one chat, no doubt about it. Sophisticated. Nobody, goofing around or anything we have some. I'm the only one that kind of goofs around here a little bit, trying to throw a little bit of entertainment into this thing. But it is a lot more great. Wasn't it great when Mindy came on the show? I didn't mean to do that to her, when she first returned. All right. Okay, for these two, I'd have to think that, you think of Oklahoma. Man, Mindy's on them. I can't necessarily. I'm going over. It's going to be an over for me for sure. I think in this one, that's just that's where I'm going to go. I think the original number is fine. I was not necessarily overly interested, so you can tell maybe this isn't my hottest game, but I'm going to take the over with SMU and Oklahoma. And, at 16 and a half, I may end up, I'm not against Mindy, but I could buy it up a little bit, grab a few extra point or two and see how it goes there. And maybe consider. I mean, these handicappers are pretty hot on SMU, and I kind of feel like I am too. You have an SMU team that they won 5 of 7 dating back to last year. An SMU usually getting a lot of points when going into the Big 12, and usually been getting covers. They've covered 5 straight on the road against the Big 12, and OU has failed to cover at home in 5 of their last 7 games. So I might be leaning the other way, but over for me. Oklahoma's gone over in 4 of their last 6 dating back to last season, and 4 of 6 at home dating back to last season. Oklahoma's known for going over. All right. Move on now and take a look at New Mexico State going up against Liberty here. You got Liberty 9.5 point favorite now. Interesting. Well, Mindy sent me her play, and it corresponded with exactly what I was looking to do in this one. So you want a premium consensus? Mindy isn't here. Giving it to you right now. You don't need to go over and subscribe to the morning steam package here for this one. I'm giving it to you now. We'd appreciate if you did. Like I said, we've got earlier plays that have not been released publicly that Mindy was on earlier in the week. I'd already been on the show. Remember, she came back in the middle of the show. So if we've treated you well, hey, please consider going and grabbing that early package of 7 plays. But here's one for free. Liberty in this one. Look, they were as high as what? Minus 13 here. So I'm interested in Liberty laying the points. Now, I know that there are a lot of good cappers. I've seen them. They're on New Mexico State, public cappers. Guys, some of the biggest names in the industry are on New Mexico State in this one. But Mindy and I, look, even the total, what is it right now? Down to 53. This one has moved lower. Is it creating a little bit of value? Maybe on the over. I was liking the under early on at 56.5, however, so I'm not so sure now if I can get behind that. But Steam did come in on the under. That's maybe why it was pushed down the way it was. So in this one, Mindy and I were on Liberty. Anything from you guys on the Flames, you guys? Flames and Aggies? Not a great matchup here. It's going to be me and Diddy again, hanging out with the plays, looks like. Thanks, Thomas. It's going to be you and me. Hey, let's see, Thomas and Ramon consensus also. Thomas joins the consensus of Mindy and I. It's 9.5 and 53. Let's go ahead and take Liberty here. Really, I like the fact that the line has, gone down below double digits. And that's really, I was already leaning Liberty. I'd say I was leaning Liberty at that original, at that 13, but now we can definitely get on Liberty here in this one. I would think, New Mexico State probably have a little bit better offense from that what we've seen right now, but man, the Flames I think will have a better defense, and I think they have a revenge here actually. So it was 49-14. The New Mexico beat Liberty as a 24.5 point road dog. So, all right, New Mexico State won big last week, 58-21 as an 18-point favorite. Following that UMass game, remember, and Liberty beat Bowling Green 34-24 as an 8-point home favorite, and they had 5 interceptions. Let's take Liberty in this one. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's right, Scotch. Me and Thomas and you are the experts because, like I said, and Mindy, because reading I love to read those newsletters. I love to watch the shows. The higher profile, the better, because then I could call them out. Never going to call out, the cappers that are like of like ilk, right, on our shows and everything. I'm talking about the big names out there, the the network of action and the one here in Las Vegas, they with their big that DraftKings channel and everything that got bought out. Talk about the big names. So I feel like I can call them out and give out their plays, but not my buddies, here on the different multi-capper sites that are like ours. I respect that. I respect them, not necessarily more, but respect their privacy. All right. So Ohio and Florida Atlanta, and they don't always come through on the service play forums, right? Someone's got to buy them and show them. Hey, Ohio here and Florida Atlantic. I'm showing Florida Atlantic here now. Hey, they might be up to 3.5 here. I'm going to update this line because there's also been a move on the total. These are a little bit older. I definitely prepared for this show a few hours ago with the graphics more so than the just 1, 2, or 3 hours. These are about 4 or 5 hours old. Florida Atlantic here, 3.5 point favorite in this one, and the total here is, as I said, 62. All right, this is game number 367 and 368 for Florida Atlantic. They actually opened as high as 6, so there's been a pretty steady move here on Ohio. Mindy sent me her play, and it was on Ohio, so not the best deal here, but that's the way I was kind of leaning, but I didn't want to send it to her as a consensus because of the move. It was just a little bit too close for me now. In fact, it was at 3, I think, at the time. I don't know if it even would have swayed me at 3.5, although my lean is Ohio here, but I don't necessarily always, put a burden on us here, right? In a game there may feel close to me. Look at this total too, 62. Now I'm maybe a little bit more interested in this. The steam actually came in on the reported steam actually came in on the under, but the game opened way back at 59 to the general market, but an early release number as low as 55.5. And when I caught wind of what might have been, I felt regret, because I do think that this one will be a high-scoring game with these two teams. Last year was 41-38. Ohio won the game. Now they do have some issues going into the game with injuries here in this one, but again, 79 points. They won that one. They were getting 4.5 points at the time from the Owls in that game. FAU was, I think, on the doorstep, and then they got stopped with 30 seconds left in the game. So no Rourke last time, but the backups had just 104 yards. They did rush for 200 yards against Long Island. They won the game by just 17 points as 38-point favorites. So we'll see. That's the issue certainly in this game, that at least for the general public in discussing the game is the availability of Rourke to play in this game. So that's why there's to me more trepidation as well. But again, the move has been on Ohio here, no doubt, which is look, they're still a pretty decent. Florida Atlantic's 1-0, but Rourke, he's going to give it a try. And, I think they're listing him as probable, so that's got to be the move. Let me make sure, because now that I see this move to 3, okay. So if he's probable in this one, that is a good sign, certainly. I'm gonna go over. If he's going to be probable in this one, I'm going to go over. I'm seeing handicappers kind of still on Florida Atlantic. I'm sure that's with the fact that, I think we all thought that Rourke was, I thought questionable, but I'm going to go over as my play. The steam came in on the under. There's no value to this. I'm just giving it out as my free play here in this one. You guys have anything on this game with Florida Atlantic? Hello to Stephen Beer. Nice to have you today. Thank you. Mindy's going to be joining us Monday through Fridays now. I'm happy to say, really, just after Mindy was under the weather a little bit for a couple of weeks, and we got her back. And I think maybe, I'm not saying that we, you know, uh, it was going to happen, right? If you got that illness, it's going to knock you down. But hope we weren't working too hard. Let's go through Monday through Friday. I'll be here on Saturdays and Sunday mornings, and of course our new show starting tomorrow here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel. Tony thought it was a good idea, so I got excited, and I'm going to be here tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, live NFL coverage, market coverage, and then college football market coverage in the middle of that with line moves. It's going to be a fast pace. I'm going to be here all day, but it'll be fun. Okay, let's see. We'll hear Thomas Lewis on Florida Atlantic. Blake will lay the points. And okay, Florida Atlantic for Thomas. Dre says, give me Ohio on the money line there. I'm thinking that's what that means. Or maybe it means the points, whatever the case may be. And I think I've got the over in this one. Don't feel great about it at 62, but maybe I like it a little bit more. This will be a tight, close game. Boy, could it be, 28 to 28, 31 to 28? Someone's coming down and scoring, and it's going to be a good game. 41-38 last year. Why wouldn't it be something like that this year? My guess is that it feels like you're saying FAU team total over. Okay, here we go. UAB going up against Georgia Southern in this one. UAB on the road here, 369, 380, 369, 370 here with UAB on the road. And in this one, let's see here. So UAB. Georgia Southern opened as low as -4, so the move has definitely been on Georgia Southern here. The total at 63.5. This is as high as this total has been for sure. Looking at it, opened as low as 57.5, and this one's been wildly on the move. In this one. So let's see. Mindy did get me her play. I want to make sure I got it right, actually, because yeah, she is on the over in this game, no doubt. She went over at 63.5. Man, that is getting to be a high number. I do like it, but man, that's just feels pretty high to me, and I did not. I don't think I went with her on that. I don't think we went together on that one. No, we did not. So Mindy gives out the over here with UAB and Georgia, and for myself, I like UAB here if they're getting 7 points. I think I'm willing to come in on UAB here and take this touchdown in this one. For UAB, getting 7 points, I think I'm willing to do that. Let me see what you guys got in the chat. It's going to challenge that number for sure. I do think the points are going to come in this. The points are going to come in this one. Anything from our group? We have maybe UAB for Thomas. Clyde, yeah, I hope we have fun. Nathan says maybe buy a half a point here and take the Blazers. I have a lot of, here's the thing. I am fond of, look, I think Dilfer is a good hire. I think this is a guy you can believe in. I think he's built himself with a pretty good staff, if you know what I mean. I think his staff is good. Going into this one, I am high on UAB. I am higher than most on UAB. So I think that's kind of weighing into part of my handicap here in this one. Georgia Southern 3-0 as a home favorite against the spread so far, and with Helton, and UAB did go 0-6 against the spread last season on the road. Georgia Southern has pretty high-powered offense that UAB might not be able to counter with, and Dre will take UAB. Look, I might be, I don't know, I felt maybe on my own. I want you to go watch Tony's video, but Tony's on UAB. Tony and Moni consensus right here. UAB. Go watch all of his videos, of course. I mean, there's only 48 of them, whatever it is. 54. Well, I don't even know how many games there are. I'm on UAB. Law Dog on the over. I think UAB will have the offense. I think with Dilfer, I think that's what's going to be key moving forward for this team. UAB won 35-6 last week over A&T. Zeno, he was 38 for 41, and 13 different receivers caught passes, and that's what you're going to see. They are very technical in this offense. I believe they will be a much improved offense this year. I think that showed it already last week with Zeno. So, all right. Well, Georgia Southern won 34-0 over Citadel. So, okay, let's take UAB as our play here in this one. I'm on the Blazers. Yeah, and remember Blazers were going to shut it down just not too many years ago. We're going to be, we don't see football programs shutting down, and the Blazers did. And then they're back, and now look at them. I think watch for the Blazers. They're one of my sleepers, if you will. UL Lafayette is going to be on the road here, taking on Old Dominion. In this one, Lafayette on the road, a 5.5-point favorite. It opened maybe as high as 8.5. Opened maybe as high as 8 in this one. So move definitely to Old Dominion. The total here, 51. This is as high as this thing has been for sure. This one's been on the move. I show the general opener was 48. There were some outlaw rogue openers as low as 45.5. That was obviously an error. I mean, I already liked the over in this game at 48. Mindy liked Old Dominion here. I just wish we were still getting the, hey, we're here on Saturday. You could have had 7. I think you could have had 7 at the beginning of the week if you would have taken it. And, some good handicappers on Old Dominion certainly that I've tracked, but I've got to go over. I don't think the price is that great, but I don't have a problem with it. And I will go over the inflated 51 here. I don't think we're getting the best price, but if you're going to go over or under, and I'm not going to necessarily go against Mindy here and lay the points with Lafayette because it's certainly moving very close to my number now. I might have been interested in Old Dominion at 8 and maybe even take them up a little bit, or 7 maybe, but buy a little bit. But for me, the over. I'm much more confident about the over in this game given where these two teams stand right now, UL Lafayette and Old Dominion. Louisiana, you know what I'm doing them a bit of a disservice, right? I apologize for that if there's any fans of Louisiana. So let's see here. I think the Cajun, right? Is it Louisiana Raging Cajun? I should be. I'm usually the one that's a stickler for that. Thomas Lewis on Lafayette. He's the only one that's chimed in on this one. I'm gonna go through them all. Maybe I could skip some of these, but I think there's money to be made in a lot of these great games. So, all right. Lafayette's probably the more talented team. Definitely some sharp guys are on Old Dominion, and maybe they'll get me on there. Mindy's on Old Dominion. I'm on the over in this one. All right. Oh, Nathan's got to play for us there. Yeah, right. UL Lafayette, Louisiana. Now we get into some bigger action maybe here with Cincinnati and Pittsburgh in this one. This was a time change off the early schedule rotation, if I'm not mistaken. So you'll find this is game number 311 and 312 with Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Current line is Pittsburgh minus 6.5. And the total here is 45. Pittsburgh's been the team that's taken most of the action, or at least that's the way the line has moved in this one. It opened as low as 3.5. You got some pretty sharp guys, some pretty big public cappers, certainly on Pittsburgh here. But look at that total. Also, is the total really 45 here? All right. Mindy did send her picks, and she is on the under in this game. And well, certainly that's been the move. Man, that's a pretty stiff move. I was leaning under, but I don't know anymore. I feel like I might be going the other way just because of the line move. But if the line here, look, 6.5, maybe I could bend it up here a little bit, but I'm going to be interested in Cincinnati, actually, I think, in this one. Let's see if we can't get through a little bit of information here with this one, with these two teams, Cincinnati going up against Pittsburgh. So just thought it was just interesting that total has dropped so significantly. The steam reportedly came in on the under, so I know where Mindy might be going with this, but man, that feels like it's dropped quite a bit. Pittsburgh. This has always been a good series for Pittsburgh, but they haven't met in forever, so it really doesn't matter. Pittsburgh beat Wofford 45-7. Cincinnati, they put up 66 against Eastern Kentucky. Jones, he was controlling it. I mean, he looks like the next Cincinnati quarterback, so he definitely looked good. They definitely can put some pressure here on Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh has the former Boston College quarterback, Jerkovic, here in this one. Narduzzi just 14-22 as a home favorite. I don't know if that's necessarily awful, though, considering right now they were 2-4 against the spread last year. Okay. This one might be a little tough for me. Mindy's on the under. I think it's gone a little bit too far for me to join her in this one down at 45. The general opener was 48. There were some openers as high as 50. At 48, maybe I was interested. I certainly was interested maybe in Pittsburgh if it was, a field goal or something. But at 6.5, I'm going to have to take Cincinnati here in this one. I'll take the points. I don't think there is maybe in such a huge rebuild mode in Cincinnati. I think they can, stay within a touchdown here in this one. And we have Blake going to lay it here with I think he's taken Cincinnati, right? You're listing the name Cincinnati, so Law Dog here says it still will go over, and I'm probably going to find a way. You know what? I mean, don't tease these whatever. You know what? Cincinnati and an over is probably going to be like my ticket in this game. Cincinnati and over teaser of some kind or something. Blake, yeah, there it is. Blake said that, and Nathan says he likes Cincinnati, but he'll buy a few points here. All right. Yeah, I'm going to try Cincinnati here in this one. Mindy is on that under. And these were, like I said, that thing moved, 3 points off the general opener. But Mindy's plays were basically from last night. She sent them to me last night. I went over them and sent them back to her. And so we're pretty much dealing with the lines that you see here. Okay, North Texas and Florida International here. North Texas, a 12-point favorite, and the total 51.5 here. This is game number 375. And I'm showing now all the way down to 12. The general opener was around 14. There was an opener as high as 17. Got some very sharp cappers, certainly on Florida International. Has it been, that popular at the window, or is it something else that's sent this game kind of on the move like this? Because that is just a huge, huge move. And you see the total here also at 51.5 right now. That's you're right in the middle pretty much of where this one's been. This one's been all over the place. The general opener was 53.5, so there is certainly a move lower, but the initial move was 54.5, all the way down to 48.5, and then back up here to 51.5. So Mindy's on the under though here, 51.5. And for me, I think North Texas is Florida International, by the way, Mr. Producer guy. And for me, I don't know. I don't know if I'm buying into the move necessarily, and I might look for the discount here on North Texas. I mean, I know there's some pretty sharp cappers on Florida International here, but I'm a little worried about this move. I think it's creating some value here on North Texas. Interesting that these two teams were in the same conference, and now they've enjoyed playing each other so much, even though they're not in the same conference. They decided to schedule this game. How about that? Last two meetings, North Texas won this matchup 101-21. Now we know there's been a little bit of movement with these two teams. North Texas had a rough time in that loss to Cal, 58-21. So it's a new head coach. Cal, they're definitely doing something different. I mean, talk about all those good teams in the Pac-12. You don't necessarily throw Cal in there with them, but Cal right now, they're running as many plays as anybody in the country. They're going tempo, tempo, tempo. So maybe North Texas caught by surprise or whatever here, because it's definitely a change of pace. North Texas trailed 27-21 late in the second half. They gave up another touchdown and then 25 unanswered points. So North Texas had just 41 yards rushing. They threw 3 interceptions. They couldn't stop Cal. So FIU beat Maine 14-12 as a 10.5-point favorite. They were outgained by Maine by 70 yards and lost the first down battle 27-13. FIU had just 13 rushing yards, but got a couple of touchdown passes from Jenkins, who threw for 292 yards. So I like the statistic. North Texas has beat these guys up pretty good. I think there's some pretty sharp guys that have bought some key numbers off of this game. I'm going to lay 12 points here with North Texas. Thomas Lewis on North Texas. Jamal may be on the over here. Good morning to you, Matt. Welcome. Middle Tennessee and Missouri here. Missouri, a 21-point favorite, and the total 47.5. So the Tigers here in this one, this is about as high as this spread has been. It opened around 20, but did have a general opener of around 17. Look, I think Missouri should be able to handle this game. I wish we could get a better number. There's nothing we can do now. If we're going to play it, we got to play it. But I don't think Middle Tennessee is in any position to necessarily stay within this number. I think I could see more, maybe a 24-point victory. So it's not some overwhelming premium, but I, feel like Missouri's a side. Mindy did send me her play. It's on the under. You see the total at 47.5. It opened 51. I don't mind that under, but the early opener was much higher, and maybe the value got all sucked out of the window on that because it got steamed under big time. So I don't mind Mindy's play on the under. I just wish it was still 51, 50, even 49, but 47.5, I couldn't send it back to her for something that we could get together. So I do like the side, maybe just as much, maybe a little more. So I'm going to take Missouri here as my play. And lay 21, I could have laid a little bit less, but here we are on the show on Saturday, and I'm going to take Missouri in this one and lay these points. See if you guys are up to anything here with this one. Blake says he'll do it. Take Missouri. He'll lay the points with the Tigers. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do as well. All right. Let's see. Missouri beat South Dakota 35-10 as a 27-point favorite, so they didn't get the money there. They did lead the game 28-3 and were pretty much dominating in the first half, holding South Dakota to just 62 yards. But Missouri conference game on deck. It's K-State. And Missouri just 3-8 against the spread, their last 11 out of conference. All right. And, well, we know Middle Tennessee State got blown out by Alabama, but I don't know what you can put into that necessarily. I don't think they – let's see. What was the line on that game? 39. No, they didn't cover. They lost by 49. I'm going to take Missouri here. I'll lay 3 touchdowns on Saturday. Houston and Rice. And in this one, Houston on the road here, an 8-point favorite, and the total is 52.5. All right. Mindy and I actually have a consensus play on this one. It's in the system. You don't have to buy it. We're going to give it to you right here. And Mindy and I are on the under in this one with Houston and Rice. Remember, last year it was 14-10 at halftime. It did kind of blow up in the second half and ended up 34-27 as a final. Houston was a 17.5 point favorite in that game. So they didn't get the number. But we're going to be on the under in this one. The Steam came in on the over. I don't even think we might be getting – I saw an early opener as high as 55.5, but the general opener was actually closer to this number. So I don't mind this at all. I'm willing to go under for sure with Houston and Rice coming into this matchup. Yeah, I sent it back to her. I said, this is a game that we're on. Houston and Rice under. I had some good backing on this game. Here, I don't want to keep you guys from fiddling around the computer too much. So many games to cover still, but I'll just call it the under. You guys got anything on this one? Let's see. Jamal's on Rice, and Steam came in on Rice. I think it's, we'll see if it goes any lower. Look, I'm kind of interested in Houston. The move's on Rice, I get it. Steam's on Rice. I might be looking at. I'm going to wait this one out and see. I mean, Houston covered 4 of their last 5 on the road. They've covered 5 of the last 7 meetings in this series. So I'm gonna wait and see on that. I was leaning more towards Houston possibly, but let's just wait and see. I think for me on the side, let's give out that total. Mindy and I, we are going under in this one. So actually, there aren't many trends. Actually, thank you, Nathan. I was just gonna tell you guys. I was actually saying the trends actually don't support what I was saying, but I'm mostly relying on what's going on, I think, with these two teams, right? I mean, look, you figure Rice's Daniels, he's pretty decent, but he's kind of, he just keeps it under control. I think Smith was pretty good last week. Houston won that game against UTSA 17-14. they were outgained in that game. Yeah. Blake, what about the Vandy game? Let's see. Oh, yeah, because that one's going to go off in just an hour. And so I think we can do that. Why not? And maybe I'll tell you, I gave out Vandy in that one, even at that lower price. What is it now? 10.5. Yeah, I gave out Vandy. I mean, could have had a better price, certainly. And boy, 10.5. At least we're getting that hook there. But that's the way that I was looking at that one. And also with that, total did seem pretty inflated. This team came in on the under, but man, look at how hard they drove that one down. I saw as high as 63, and now it's going to be going up 56.5. Probably right on. All right. Nathan here, 24-13. Oregon and Texas. You might just start hearing me recite the plays instead of fooling around through all the noise that I have here. But here we go with a big game, so I think we can get comments out of you guys as well in this one. And Mindy and I have already sent out our play. We're on Texas Tech. The world's on Texas Tech, it seems. Handicappers are overwhelming on Texas Tech. I'm showing handicappers across the industry are liking Texas Tech at like a 9-to-1 ratio, and they're still getting 6 points. So that feels pretty good to me. I'm taking Texas. You want a high-profile handicapper, one that I could just say his name on here because he's on a big network. But the Bear, he's on Texas Tech. So remember, he's on Fox now. Like everybody else, nobody's on ESPN anymore. They might as well go with AI. So I also show handicappers are liking this one to go over by about a 3-to-1 ratio, and you're not getting much value there. I don't think, even at 68.5. I mean, I might be able to find my way to the over. I think it's going to be right there. I think this one's going to be 65, 68, 70. Hard to predict right in there. Here's the thing. You talk about it's easier to predict totals when they're going to arrive at like 42 to 45 than it is when they're going to arrive at 65 to 70. But it feels like this one, I don't think they're going to end up, too short of this one. We saw what Oregon did. Oh, they're all proud of themselves. I thought it was a joke, but now you got to go in and play Texas Tech. So maybe people see that 81 points against Portland State, and they'll be like, well, you got to take Oregon. But I'm not more interested in Texas Tech. Look, they struggle in games like this usually, and they were probably looking ahead last week in their game. So I'm not going to sweat it. We're on Texas Tech in this one, and it's going to be up there. It's going to be a high scoring game. I don't know what I can do about it. I want to go over, but it's going to be hard to get there. I'll gamble. I don't think I'll be giving out any plays on the over, but more chance. More chance of how about more chance of the game landing on 80 than it will on 60. I guess that's the way I would feel about trying to determine. Tech had 338 yards passing last week, and I don't know. Looking at the stat, I didn't watch any of that, or I just watched the highlights. You don't see Portland State's highlights, but they did have a little bit of success of passing against the Ducks, actually. Texas Tech led that game at Wyoming 17-0. It did go 2 overtimes, ended up at 65 points, 35-33 in the 2-point conversion game. So I'm taking Texas Tech here. Still not too much from you guys, but at least this is a better game, right? And protection firm. I've already done those games, quite frankly. So if you want to go back right now and check out all those games, they're all loaded up on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel in convenient form, where you just maybe pick the ones you want to listen to. So I see you, my man. You guys all know who that is. That's 1K Protection Firm. All right, yeah, McAfee taking over here. Remember, the funny thing is, he was on game day already last year, kind of like before he made the move. He was already kind of a contracted worker, started appearing on game day. Nathan says, take Texas Tech. Nathan's calling for this big score. Mike says Oregon. I'm on Oregon. Mindy's on Oregon. We're on Texas Tech. Mindy's on Texas Tech. I'm on Texas Tech. Mike on Oregon. Give Mike his props there. Don't forget to check out Tony's videos. See who he's on. And Thomas is on Texas Tech. So maybe you guys are going with me. But like I said, across the industry, man, I'm seeing Texas Tech. I'm seeing public cappers on Texas Tech. I'm seeing paid cappers on Texas Tech. So take that for what it's worth, but that's a feature that I added here to the show to go and look at this information. We're gonna fall way short of that. Lithuania flopped here. So these consolation games, what am I doing? We crushed everything. And that's gonna put our record at 17-6 right now in FIBA. That's all right. That's pretty good. And you guys got them all. They won't let me sell FIBA on the site because we just, it'd be unfair. But we'll crush them with the most popular sports in the world. You're interested in this one at all? Jacksonville State and Coastal in this one. Yeah, maybe it's not but we want to see the new Jacksonville State, and I'll tell you what, they are getting some attention from handicappers across the industry, and I think it's worthy. Mindy came in with her play on the over here, but I like Jacksonville State a little bit defensively. Look, I know the total's going up. This 61.5 is as high as it's been. It opened in the general market 57 and immediately went down to 56. It got hit up pretty hard by some pretty sharp guys over, and it just keeps going. But I actually kind of like Jacksonville State's defense a little bit in a matchup like this. I mean, look, Coastal, it's not the same Coastal. We know that. But for me, man, I don't know. I'm probably going to make my way here to Jacksonville State with all my buddies, the Cappers. That's what it feels like. I'm going to be, I am going to tail them on this one probably a little bit. No, I was liking Jacksonville State already, and yeah, you know what, grab an extra point, maybe pay a little because 14 looks attractive if you can get there. Coastal, that game against UCLA, right? They turned the ball over a couple of times. They were kind of stuck in the mud there. They lost by just 14 points, 27-13. So they did a pretty good job, right? And the other thing is that Jacksonville State, they like to run the ball. And here's one thing to note. I want to make this comment. It's not about this game, but lots of comments certainly about the new rules, right? I tried to get the info, and I'm not able to pinpoint it down yet. But we saw a lot of overs, right? Just went totally against the grain as far as what people were expecting. So why did that happen? And why did it go over? All we got were more commercials is what it really ended up turning out to be, right? We got less plays and more commercials. And that's not what you want in college football. I'd rather have a 4-hour game, put your dumb commercials in, and let them play a game. But so here's what's going on, what some of the coaches are saying, and why we're seeing teams maybe like, I don't want to call Oregon out on this, but teams are more interested now in running their offense late because they're not getting as many plays. This is college football. You only get 12 games. And you've got 100 kids, and you're trying to get them in the game. You're trying to evaluate. You're trying to get them experience. And a lot of times in blowouts, second half, you take it a little, some of those games, but not anymore, right? You got to get them in and get so it's kind of working against them a little bit as far as where maybe the lopsided games are helping take the totals over. So maybe blowouts are going over more. Closer games still might be. Maybe that's where we'll see the low score, if you will. So I'll be on Jacksonville State in this one. Mindy sent her play in on the over in this one. So, all right. Well, McCall can do it, but again, where was the offense last week? He threw a couple of interceptions against the Bruins, and Coastal struggled against the spread last year as a road favorite. They went just 1-5. Now they were coming off that monster year with all that momentum, but again, no one's going to be, where people aren't quite familiar with Jacksonville State yet. Law Dog's on Jacksonville State. Nathan's on JSU. $1K protection firm. Go to YouTube and type in Tony's Picks, and then click on the YouTube channel for Tony's Picks, and then click on videos, and you'll see just a series of videos. There's also another way to do it. You could type in if you're just looking for a particular game, or you could type in The Morning Steam, Tony's Picks, and all the shows will come up. And the college football previews started on Wednesday for those noon games, Thursday for the 12:30 Eastern games, and then now I'm continuing on with my coverage here. And Tony's games, he's got every game previewed already as well. So appreciate you, my friend. And Jacksonville State, 2-0. Nathan on the I think we're Mike, we're definitely going to cover that Maryland game here. Yeah, what a blowout, huh, Thomas? Me and Thomas, we can complain. We're whining, we're complaining about these, and we shouldn't be playing these games, Thomas. Let's get to the good game. Let's get to that championship game. And by the way, I already did give out, if it's on the video right now, my embedded video on the site, my pick for the consolation game between the United States and Canada. Consolation third place game. For Canada, it's a third place game. For the United States, it's consolation. Not technically, but you know what I mean. Connecticut and Georgia State here in this one. Georgia State favored in this one by 3. And the total here is 54.5. Georgia State has opened in the general market here 3.5, but they did get released early a little bit as a 7-point favorite. Mindy sent me her play. We're on Georgia State here in this one. There are some pretty sharp guys on Connecticut, no doubt about it, but I want to play Georgia State here in this one. Look, Georgia State, they won 42-35. They didn't cover 17.5 against Rhode Island, but look, Rhode Island's a pretty good team. Rhode Island's a pretty good team, right? They got the veteran coach that I meant, he could coach anywhere, but he coaches at Rhode Island. So they trailed in that game 28-21, then scored 21 straight points. They were outgained in that game. See this total here? I don't know. This looks like to me to be right on, but I think Georgia State will win this game by about that touchdown. I think that actual rogue line might have been the way to go. Georgia State is, one of the more experienced teams in the country. So they have a good defense. I think they'll be able to handle this game. I think this game is certainly in line for me for Georgia State. Yeah. I'm sorry. Connecticut is more experienced. Georgia State, I believe, has the better personnel. Less experience, but better personnel. That is the way I see it. So I think in general, those sharps here on Connecticut, I was going to see if that's Steam. I misquoted myself there on my notes. I can't read. But Mindy sent her play. The Steam was on, let's see here. Oh, I didn't have any major reported Steam on this game. Okay, we're on Georgia State. Let me just move on. I didn't do a very good job on that game. Good thing Mindy liked it. I liked it too. I probably wasn't going to play it as a premium or anything, and it probably would have been the side if I didn't hear from Mindy or if she went with a total or something, I probably would have given out Georgia State here. But the fact that she likes it, and I'll take it as well. So we'll make it. That's how you do it. That's how we're doing it, Mindy and I. So we're on it. We're definitely getting the best price, and I like that. Thomas Lewis, Connecticut. Jamal on the over. All right. Memphis and Arkansas State. Memphis on the road here, 3-touchdown favorite, and the total is 58. This one's kind of been all over the place. I saw it go as high as 23. It's been as low as 18. Now it is 20.5. The total is here down at 58. That's pretty much the general opener was around there, but I did see some opener as high as the 64. The steam came rolling in on the under in this one. Mindy sent me the under. I think it's going to be right about there. If there really was a 64, that would be nice. I would definitely consider the under there. But I think for me, I'll probably have to look at the side in this one, and it's going to be Memphis. I think they can win. Man, 20.5. Woo! That's a lot. It's a lot of points to lay here on the road, but I'm gonna try Memphis in this one against Arky State. This one's gonna be, probably tough to get. Gonna need that extra touchdown because this one's gonna be sitting around 14 to 17 point game. And like I said, I definitely they could be right there, maybe 56 points eventually. So seven touchdowns and a couple of field goals, maybe. Memphis has won all 3 times, but Arkansas State has covered those games. All right. Well, we know Memphis had a big win. They beat Bethune-Cookman, but they did not cover. They were favored by 48, and they won by 42. Memphis had 551 yards of total offense, including 334 yards passing. Arky State got rocked by OU 73-0 as a 36-point dog. So let's go ahead and try Memphis here to roll. Oklahoma had 642 yards of total offense. It was 45-0 at halftime. So this is a game they play well in, but that wasn't too good last week. Memphis does seem like they are, they can get there. It's going to take some work. I'd rather take Memphis here. Mr. Confidence on this one. Here's Jamal on Memphis, Blake on Memphis. Jamal also with the over. Hello to Mike Allison. Good to see you. Hey, nice game here, huh? So how about Central and Boise? Is Boise back? Not back, but, Boise's had an interesting start here, certainly. It looks like Central Florida, though, is kind of taking the act. Boise opened a 1.5-point favorite. Memphis is Central Florida is all the way up to a 3.5-point favorite right now. I don't know what's going on with that. Memphis. Mindy does like Central Florida. She sent me Central Florida, and I'm not into it. I like I like Boise. I like Boise here. I think I like Boise. Look, a total 58.5. Man, I don't want to go against Mindy. I like this. I'm going to go under. I'm going to go under. I think. Look. I know we might. The perception is the offense will be there. I know there's some sharp cappers. The steam came in on the over, but I'm going under in this game. I think Boise's good enough. They're going to control this situation here in this game, in this matchup. So they just played a couple of years ago. 36-31 was the final score in that one. Boise led 21-0 in the second quarter and 24-14 at halftime, and UCF came back. Boise, I thought they did well. They led Washington early and then kind of got crushed, but I like I like where Boise stands at this point. I'm sure that's why the line is moving against them at this point. I'm not too worried about that because I think we see now, what Washington is up to. I mean, Boise at home, I almost don't care who they're at who they're playing now. Uh, Usually they don't cover spreads, but usually they have to. They okay, here it is. They've been a home dog just twice in the last 10 years. So this is a rare situation. I want Boise, but I'm going to give out the under in this game. Maybe I can. I don't know. Maybe should be on premium on this one. With it being later, I'm coming with it later in the afternoon with a card. I might have tipped my hand there. I just forgot that Mindy's in Central Florida. And look, the move's on Central Florida, no doubt. I've seen other cappers on Boise, and I agree with them. I'm not seeing that many cappers on Central Florida. I think our in-house folks are going to be, maybe they're on Central Florida, but I'll take the under here. I might have to save that Boise play. I think we got them in a buy low spot after the game against the Huskies. So I know Central will be fine, but they don't make trips like this very often. So I'm going under, actually. Okay, Jamal on Central Florida in that one, and that's all we got. Let's keep moving. All right, Texas and Alabama. I don't need to, I know you guys got plays. Let's see them for this one. I'm going to give out the name of a big name right now. I saw his play. It's his best bet in a major media contest. And it's not going to surprise you, but it's Mattress Mac. He's on Texas. Mattress Mac says his best play. Surprise, surprise. Alabama here, 7-point favorite. Total 53.5. Man, that's not as low as it's been, and it did get steamed to the under, but shouldn't Alabama be able to have some success here against them offensively? The total's too low for me. There apparently was a number as high as 64.5. I think that was a typo, it feels like. So you see the steam coming in on the under here. Man, that does bother me a little bit. Mindy is on. She sent me Texas. I did not send it back to her because I was kind of preferring Alabama. I was kind of preferring Alabama actually. So for me, I don't know. I feel like Alabama is going to score points in this game. So I know there's some popular cappers. Steam came in on the under, but boy, I'm kind of thinking over here. Seeing mixed action, I think, from cappers, but I think cappers are going to prefer Alabama here in this one, and I think I'm just going to have to go with. I told Mindy I wouldn't issue any challenges off the air, but I'm going to take Alabama. It's such a high-profile game. Mindy is with Mattress Mac. She's on Texas. I think we may see. Look, last year Georgia, great season. Great American. Incredible game. Okay, TCU. Okay, they suck. Whatever. We may see Alabama return to a little bit of form here, as long as they can try to figure out this quarterback situation. I'm a Tyler Buckner man, but I hope my group isn't watching back home in San Diego. It just seems like, no doubt about it, Blake. But we're going to this gambling season. We're going to college football. You know that. Looks like Blake's going over in this one. I hope he doesn't talk about Central Florida. Jamal on Alabama, Mike S on Alabama. And I'm going to take Alabama here in this one. In the big game. the other big game, if you will, today, right? I mean, this is the big game, but feels like Colorado's the big game. So, all right. Look, you don't need me to break this one down, but my eggs are kind of still in the Alabama basket, right? Let's figure that, okay, Georgia, look, they've been building things. They deserved all the success that they had moving into that one. But for Texas to come in to Tuscaloosa like this, they're, waving around like they're. This is the first time Texas. This is the first time Texas has played Alabama at Alabama in 121 years. So, all right, Alabama, they crush, uh, you know, uh, Power Five teams at home, non-conference Power Fives. Clyde Buckley on Alabama. So, I'm not worried about the game against Rice last week. They didn't care about the Rice game. They won with their eyes closed. So, I think Milroe, probably the quarterback. Hey, I want to see Buckner in there. I think Buckner wanted to play at Alabama. I think he's my guy. But maybe we'll see different quarterbacks from Alabama. But Milroe's the guy right now. He threw for 3 TDs last week. He also had 50 yards rushing and rushed for 2 touchdowns. So Alabama rolled. Lay it. Let's lay it with Alabama. I'll even bend it down a little bit, make sure we get it under 7 here. So maybe even a little further. We'll bend it all over the place. 5.5. 5.5, and maybe even lay it up to 8. Put all the money right in that little window. I'm taking Alabama as my play here. In a challenge with Mindy, I guess. I kind of want to make it a premium, but too late now. I've got Alabama. Next up, UCLA is going to take on San Diego State. I hope San Diego State is better than what they've shown so far, but it doesn't feel like it is. UCLA feels like they're kind of ready to pick up where they left off, even with a little bit of change in personnel here, right? They look ready to roll. So they're 2 touchdown favorites here against San Diego State. San Diego State kind of struggled. I was happy with the way they, were able to get the win finally against Ohio. Mindy did send me her play, and we are in consensus agreement in this one. We're going over the 49 here. We're not getting the best price at all. This one definitely opened closer to 46.5, but there's some sharp handicappers that are on the San Diego State UCLA game to go over. I think UCLA will not have that much of a problem scoring. San Diego State, you got to worry about their offense. I think it'll be UCLA that might end up carrying the day here, but I'm not going to lay this right now at maybe at 13.5. A number as low as 9 started out there. I think we're mostly dealing with 2 touchdowns to the general betting population here. So 3rd straight home game for the Aztecs. I mentioned the Ohio game. That they played Idaho State last week. Let me get that right. I should know. I watched that game. 36-28 was the final in that one. UCLA, San Diego State did not get the money, even come close to getting the money against Idaho State. Idaho State's pretty bad. They're actually slightly improved, but UCLA beat Coastal in that game we talked about, 27-13. Garbers was in there, but I thought Moore looked better. So I hope we see him, but they still had 400 yards passing. So I think San Diego State, they're maybe known for defense, but maybe their lack of offense also has something to do with their reputation a little bit. So I'm going to take the over with Mindy. We're going over here in this one, just probably UCLA to put up a big number here. in this one. And maybe it will look. This is not a big game for UCLA. This is not a big game. This is a big game for San Diego State to a certain degree, but they are overmatched a lot. San Diego State, the defense is still solid. I just don't think it is what it was last year or the previous year. I think their defense was better over the last couple of years than maybe it is right now. San Diego State, I'm giving them a chance actually to hang in here, but not maybe to cover 2 touchdowns, but just to stay close to that 2 touchdown margin. And Jamal is with UCLA. Washington and Washington State is an attractive matchup tonight. Wisconsin goes all the way to Pullman for a game. In this one, I'm showing Wisconsin right now the favorite, 5.5 and 57.5. All right, for Wisconsin, they opened generally about a 5-point favorite, but there were some numbers as low as 3 out there to be had. And I don't know, for me, Mindy sent me her play already. I'm going to give it to you, but it just was, I kind of liked Wisconsin. Maybe you can keep it under a touchdown. Maybe Wisconsin's still good. Don't necessarily favor that number. I like Wisconsin to win this game, certainly. Steam did come in on Washington State. Steam came in on the over. It's all the way up to 57.5. Now, Mindy and I are on the over here in this one. Nothing we can do. I do like it over considerably. I think it could be, into the 60s here, low 60s, but enough to certainly jump on board with Mindy here and take the over in this game. That's what I want to do. And that's going to be our play on the show. I didn't do anything with the side yet, but I'm leaning. I'm probably not going to get there. Probably not going to get there with a premium. And leaning Wisconsin here again. Washington, hey, Pac-12, come at us. Let's do it again. Everyone bags on the Pac-12. Can they have a big day? Blake says, "Give me Washington." So Mindy and I on the over. It is a premium consensus already. I don't know if she got around in the system yet. You're getting the plays released right here, right now in these games. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're on this one over. All right, better keep it moving here. Minnesota's a 20-point favorite. I want to get you guys out of here. Get to the game. Get your bets in well before the top of the hour, because that's what we do here on the show, is give you live pre-sports picks. Minnesota minus 20 against Eastern Michigan, and the total here is 48. Eastern Michigan, they're a little bit tricky side here in this one. Mindy sent me her play on Minnesota. The Steam came in on Minnesota. Handicappers that I follow through the industry, they like Eastern Michigan here in this one with all these points. So I think you can respect them. There's some pretty big names too on this list of handicappers that like Eastern Michigan in this game. So I don't know if I necessarily want to challenge Mindy in this one, especially with that Steam rolling in. The spread's been right around this point. Open 19.5, went as low as 18.5. Now it's 20. So, but for me, the total, even though the Steam came in on the under, the total's kind of been going up. It opened around 47.5, went down to as low as 45.5, then got hit hard here. And I'm going over in this one with Eastern Michigan and Minnesota. I think you know where I might be going here, and maybe it's going to make my premium card in this one. But I'll take the over with Eastern Michigan and Minnesota. Eastern Michigan, certainly getting, like I said, some attention here. These teams have never played. Eastern Michigan won 33-23 against Howard. They were a 24-point favorite. They were outgained in the game, but they did lead by 21 points at halftime. Howard made a comeback there. So Minnesota won just 13-10, of course, in that game against Nebraska. Nebraska gave the game away there. Gophers had 251 total yards. They did force 4 turnovers, that interception, the game-winning field goal, the bizarre type of game that it was, just crazy. So this is a great spot for Eastern Michigan, I think. I'll take the over in this one. Minnesota probably get their chunks for sure, but watch out. Minnesota probably not too interested here in this one. Eastern Michigan, this is prime upset. Well, prime for a cover. Yeah. Sprinkle the money line, why don't you? You're going to get a great price. Blake maybe going over here with me in this one. So he's ready for that Vandy game. I'm ready too. Let's go. Are we done yet? I might have to skip the baseball. I only have 3 games queued up. There's still like 3 or 4, 5, 6 games left, it seems like, here with this. So let's keep rolling. I might just start throwing out plays. But we make these individual videos too, so I kind of want to make a little bit of content to them. They'll get seen by you guys or whoever. So Arizona and Mississippi State here. Mississippi State's a 9-point favorite. The total is 59.5. And you guys, if you see a different line, just wake me up and I'll refresh. Let's make sure we get the right line, but I want to start going fast here in this one. So, all right. Mindy sent me her play. It is on Mississippi State. Look, Mississippi State's a pretty popular play. I guess I don't mind it. I want to give Arizona some credit here. Maybe they can go in and stay within single digits here, but I couldn't get on Mississippi State with Mindy, even though there's some pretty good cappers out there, I think, on Mississippi State. I'm on the under here in this one. Look, 59.5, that works for me. It was as low as 57.5, but it was as high as 62.5. And I'm going to look to go under with Arizona and Mississippi State. See if we get anything from the chat in this one. And if not, we'll just move on. Here's Jamal. He's on the over here, I think, in this one. So maybe we got a challenge in this game. So, all right. Last year they played. Mississippi State won 39-17 in Tucson, but it was 25-17 late. They got stopped on downs at the Bulldog 23. Blake's on Mississippi State. Thomas Lewis is on Mississippi State. So, all right, Arizona, they played Northern Arizona last week. It was 14-3 at half. They won 38-3, covering 28.5 points. So, all right, let me go under in this one. I'm going to respect the defenses. I'm also going to respect that, Arizona can run. They've got a 1,000-yard back in Cowing. We know Mississippi State can run as well. They've got Marks. He had 127 yards last week. And their quarterback, he's kind of a running quarterback. He could take off running. So, and Mississippi State's defense is, pretty strong. I'm going to go under 59.5 as my play here on the show. I like this one. I like it. I like it quite a bit. Probably borderline premium. I don't know. Temple and Rutgers now here. Rutgers and 8-point favorite. Oh, this total is totally wrong, right? Yeah, just a typo here. Total is 44.5. hit the wrong button, and now I've just deleted the whole graphic. No problem. Temple and Rutgers. Rutgers -8, and the total 44. We need a fancy ticker like Tony, man. If we had that thing, imagine if we had that thing for our show tomorrow. That would be awesome. Temple and Rutgers here. Rutgers favored by 8, and the total is 44. Let's get it right. It definitely was a little bit higher. I show it as high as 47, the opener at 47. So Mindy did send me the under in this one. The steam came in on the under. I get it. Handicappers are all over Temple in this game. I don't know if it's, what maybe they saw in, Rutgers in that opening game, but probably going to find my way to Temple as well. Probably be the pick right here on the show. Blake's leading under in this game. And I'm probably going to move on Temple here as my play right here on the show. And take the Owls. Yeah, not getting the best price. Missed out on 2 points here. Would have loved a 10, of course. But that wasn't to be had. So I'm going to end up on the Owls in this one against Rutgers. And I'll just have to take 8 points. But cappers across the industry, I think, are going to be favoring Temple in this one. And I'll join them. That's a free play here on the show. It does seem almost overwhelming as far as these. I'm looking at these public cappers right now in the forums here, and I'm seeing a lot of them on Temple here right now. So I won't break it down too much. I'm going to take Temple +8. Here's that Charlotte, Maryland game we wanted to talk about right now. Well, the Terps, 24.5 point favorite. It was as high as 27, so maybe there's some value on Maryland, but what kind of value is it? I don't know if Maryland's going to be worried too much about Charlotte here. Charlotte looks like more of the live side to me. Now, Mindy sent me her play. It is on the under. The steam came in on the under. It's probably right where it needs to be now at 50. I couldn't necessarily get with her on the total. It does feel like it's going to be right around there. I couldn't look one way or the other. If anything, maybe I'd even think it could tick over now. So I'm not going to disagree with her. Certainly 6 or 7 touchdowns. It doesn't seem out of the question here. So, but I do like Charlotte. Maybe even a borderline premium here in this one with Charlotte. But I'm going to give it out on the show. Maryland won last year in a big victory, 56-21. They covered 28 points. They had 600 yards. But Charlotte, they'd have nearly 400 yards. The Terps, they didn't cover the spread in their opener laying a big number. They played Towson, and it was a 38-6 win. Tagovailoa threw for 260 yards and 3 touchdowns, and then they pulled him out. So Charlotte beat South Carolina State. They did not cover their spread either. They won by 21. They were a 28-point favorite, but they did hold South Carolina State to just 168 yards and just 60 yards passing. Now, that was South Carolina State. This is totally different. Charlotte, they're not – they got a lot of young players for sure. But I playing the spot here in this one that Maryland does not have the overall focus here. I look, 24 is hard. I would have, 27 I could have considered a premium. I'm going to give out Charlotte here as my play in this one. I say they're young and inexperienced. They were a transfer portal team. No doubt about it. I don't think we've had a chance to see the results yet. So they brought in 40 players. So let's see if they can keep this one close. Look, 25-point spread and a 50-point total. I'm almost on an average team. I mean, I'm on Charlotte here. I'm on Charlotte plus 24.5. Takia, hello, nice to see you. Yes, it is great to see you. Here is Daryl, Maryland first half. Blake will take Charlotte with me. Daryl, come on. I'm on a new brigade. There are no bet lists. Not play against lists anymore. Half the teams, half the time was what we kind of should be on here. Air Force on the road against Sam Houston. How will Sam Houston fare against Air Force in this one? Let's roll this, man. It's getting close to game time here. We're almost done, you guys. Thank you for joining me today, by the way, here with new format. Hope it works out. I feel a little bit awkward, but I think as we get a massive card, I'll be a little smoother here in the weeks to come. You got Air Force, 2-touchdown favorite on the road, 36.5. Well, I could figure that out, I guess, right? 24 to 10. 24 to 10. That's under. 27 to 10, 27-13, 27. Because remember, look, 25 and 26, it's hard to land. When I was talking about, we were on the show with Mindy, right? And I started talking about some numbers, right? Nobody scores 25 points in football, right? Never. Once a week, maybe in a college, maybe 26 is hard too. When you get into the bigger numbers, get some 2-pointers, whatever can happen in there. The numbers get a little funkier. But when you're dealing with the first couple of go rounds, right? You don't land on 25 or 26. You just don't. It kind of sometimes helps you make a handicap to a certain extent. So Air Force here favored by 2 touchdowns on the road against Sam. So good to have Sam here. All right. Let's see here on this one. Let's see what Mindy had. She sent me her play. Oh, I'm so Well, hey, we have a consensus play in this one. It's on Air Force. We are on Air Force. Look, I don't need to break it down. I know Mindy's not here to give us her synopsis or anything, but I'm looking to push this along, and we're going to take Air Force here on the road against Sam. This is the first time that Sam Houston has ever played a Service Academy game. So, Sam, used to play a traditional game at this spot. This game actually is being played at Houston Texans, the Energy Stadium, or whatever they call it now. I'm sorry, I don't know. But they're playing in the big stadium for this game. So Sam covered as 19.5-point dogs in a 14-0 loss in that game to BYU. BYU had just 257 yards, but Sam didn't score. So just a little bit tough for Sam. I don't have a problem with it. Look at this total. I don't have a problem with it at all. But Mindy and I agree to take Air Force in this one, and yeah, I think if I was going to make the score here, because this is a little bit easier, right? And I said, what did I say? 27 to 10. I think I wanted a little bit more though. I want a little bit more comfortability there. 27 to 7. 30 to 7. 20. I lean under barely. 27-7, 30-7, 27-10, 27-10. That's got to be 27-7. 27-7, I'm final on that. Air Force wins. Sam will be in, if they can play this deep, they'll be fine. They'll be fine in some games if they can play some defense. Jermaine Smith, hello. Hey, that was our biggest consensus right there from you guys, taking Air Force 3 times. Thank you for your comments. Southern Miss going up against Florida State. 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. In this one, get down to the night games now and some good ones today. This isn't one of them. Spread 31 here and the total 53. This is about as high as this total has been. Might be a little bit too high now is what it feels like to me. Mindy sent me her play. It is on Southern Miss. And I guess I don't mind it. I think the game is going to be right here with on this side. I think 31. That looks pretty right on to me. I think Florida State's going to win this game right close to that 4-touchdown mark here, and maybe a field goal. So I'm going to end up on the under here. I know there's some good handicappers here on the over. I think it's got a little bit too high. Southern Miss could have a problem here for me scoring, period. Period, exclamation point. Scoring will be the problem in this one. These two played in a bowl game 6 years ago. FSU won 42-13. FSU, of course, the game looks so impressive, obviously. They played Boston College next. I don't know if that's a huge deal, as far as an opener, but obviously conference opener coming up. Southern Miss won 40-14. They covered 24 against Alcorn. And look, Weiss looked pretty good. I got his name wrong. I can't think of it now. I just wrote it down wrong over here or typed it in wrong. But 250 yards for that quarterback. The guy was at Clemson. I can't think of his name now. You guys, help me out. 267 yards and 3 TDs in that one. And let's see. Now, I better just cut this one short. I think I'm fine with the pick with the under. I was really stretching out these late games, trying to get you a good preview. I definitely like the number here. I'm playing my numbers certainly in this one. FSU to roll here, and I figure they might even win this 35-7, 35-7 or so, 35-7. Maybe even 35-14, but let's try 35-10, 35-14, 35-7. Somewhere in there, Florida State wins. I don't see a chance for any close game or anything. Florida State in this one. Jamal, you talking about this one? Oklahoma State and Arizona State. This one much more interesting on the road in Tempe. Here, Oklahoma State favored. They were favored by as many as, I know this was a bit of, they moved this one around a little bit. It was going to be a noontime game, right? Yes, okay, here we go. Game number 321, 322. And Mindy sent me her play on Oklahoma State. And look, I know there's some sharp cappers that are with her in this one, but there's also some cappers that are on Arizona State here. The total 53, and when I say, there are going to be cappers on both. I'm talking about cappers that I respect and follow. Okay. Because I love looking at everybody, what they're on. I'm willing to go off the board. Of course, Mindy on Oklahoma State here, -3, total of 53.5. It was as low as 52.5 and as high as 56. Oh boy, this one is, the steam reportedly came in on the over here, and two-way steam, boy. Oh gosh. I do feel flummoxed here a little bit on this one. You guys have anything for me? Maybe I'll roll with one of you guys. Jamal says, give me Arizona State in this one. That's kind of the way I was looking, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take another challenge with Mindy. Can't do anything with this total right now, so told her I wouldn't do any, but so many games, and if I'm really going to go with my best play here, what's left for me, it's Arizona State. So got a little bit of a challenge. I'm going up against some of my favorite cappers in this one. I'm going to take the Sun Devils at home here. Stanford and USC. Maybe it could be a good game. I mean, it is. It's not 20. We know that. It's 29. Just a typo there. Was as high as 30. Maybe there's a little bit of play on Stanford here. The total at 69.5. And that's where it stands currently in this one with Stanford and USC. Mindy sent it in. She said she liked USC. Said, you know what? I like USC too. Let's take them to roll. I like USC here, probably by 5 touchdowns over Stanford. I don't think we're missing much here. Yeah, so USC's had to start over just a little bit, but I don't mind. Look, okay, Stanford won the game against Hawaii. That's fine, but uh, still, man, Stanford 3-15 against the spread in the Pac-12 last couple of years. Um, it hasn't been good. They're a terrible dog on the road, trying to come in with a new coach here. I have a feeling that this one may sneak over, but it's going to be right there. You got to figure it's going to be about 70 points scored in this game, but I view USC winning it probably by 5 touchdowns, not 4 touchdowns. You have it about a point off. Mindy and I are on this one. Got some big name cappers on this one as well. So we'll say this. Handicappers that I follow, I'm not necessarily on it yet, even though it's my lean. They're on the over almost unanimously, a handful that I saw. So I'm going to be on USC. I've got them by 35 or so, maybe 38. I don't know, but I'm taking USC, Mindy. We're on it. It's a consensus play in the system. Mindy and I on USC. Auburn and Cal. This one should be really interesting, you guys. Here, Mindy sent me her play. It's on the under. The problem for me with that is Cal. They ran like 90 plays last week, man. These guys are trying to change the narrative at Berkeley. Whether or not they, and you got Hugh Freeze at Auburn. I mean, this feels like they beat UMass 59-17. They won by 35. They had nearly 500 yards. And Cal, they remember that game. We talked about the game against North Texas. So they did lose their quarterback, but that really the Bears they had 670 yards and won that game 58-21. So I think the thing is they have a capable backup in Finley. He can chuck it. Remember, he was at North Carolina State, so he ended up coming in and throwing for 275 yards. So I think the Bears probably primed to hang in there in this one. I would think they might. I'm on the Bears. Handicappers across the industry are on the Bears. It's not a secret. The Bears could win this game. Take them on the money line. The Bears are kind of part of the Pac-12 resurgence to me. I like Cal here in this one, and cappers across the industry seem to like Cal as well. Total's only gone down here. Mindy gave me the under, and it's gonna. I don't know. I think I don't know if these guys can stop each other, quite frankly. So probably not on that one. But